By the end of this extra chapter, students will be able to
understand how our brain impacts our overall health, identify and practice skills to improve health outcomes and increase self-awareness, self-confidence, and communication skills. For this video, we will be delivering the content as if it were being presented to youth. To begin, here is an icebreaker to do with the students. Each student will say their name and a fun fact. If anyone in the room relates to this fun fact, stand up. This icebreaker can show us not only how similar we are, but also how unique we are. Today, we are going to be reviewing 4 important topics: brain development, mental health and coping skills, self-confidence and resilience, and finally, we are going to discuss substance use prevention and how to keep ourselves safe. Talking about our brain and emotions is important because learning about what parts of the brain can do can help explain the choices we make. You are all around the age when our brain and thinking becomes more sophisticated. You will start experiencing new emotions that you may not have had to deal with before. We want to talk to you all about how to navigate these emotions in a healthy way. There are lots of things that can help our brain grow and be healthy. Encourage students to share examples of this. When you interfere brain development with something like substance use, it changes the way your brain works. Remind your students that it is okay to have different emotions. It's okay to be mad, angry, upset, happy. It's not okay to throw desks, scream, hit, etc. It is important to find positive and healthy ways to cope with our emotions. Encourage a conversation around emotions by asking students what makes you feel happy, sad, or angry. Zones of regulation. Some of you may be familiar with the zones of regulation. This is a way to put our emotions into colors. The green zone is what we want to work towards because we will be ready to focus and learn. Let's review what emotions go in each zone. Ask students to share a time that they were in each of the zones. As our brain is developing, our emotions are becoming stronger, and it's important to know that these emotions are normal and okay. In order to ensure we are protecting and taking care of ourselves, we need to be aware of our mental health. Before explaining mental health, ask students what mental health means to them. This can be a helpful way to understand their perspective and may spark thoughtful conversations.
Coping skills. Ask students to share a coping skill they use when they might be feeling sad, anxious, or overwhelmed. Coping skills are strategies or behaviors we do to help us feel better. Here are some examples of healthy coping skills. It's important to note that not all of these things work all the time. When people are feeling sad, nervous, down, and anxious almost all the time, or for a really long period of time, it's important to encourage students to turn to a trusted adult for support. Self-confidence. Ask students to explain what self-confidence means to them. A healthy sense of self-confidence is all about having a balanced view of yourself. A confident person can feel proud of their abilities while still knowing that there is always room to grow. Help boost students' confidence by asking them to share something they're confident in. Self-confidence is so important because the way we feel about ourselves can impact the choices we make. By building self-confidence, you can build the resilience of feeling comfortable being you. When we talk about substance use, feeling confident allows you to feel comfortable enough being yourself without substances. Having confidence also may help you find alternative ways to manage emotions in comparison to some people who use substances to cope. Resilience. The ability to cope or bounce back when things go wrong is another way to describe resiliency. This is also our ability to stand up for ourselves, be strong on the inside, deal with challenges while holding your head up, and being able to cope with things that are out of your control. When facing a challenge, ask yourself questions to learn and grow from the experience. Questions you can ask are, I can't control everything, so what about this is in my control? Or, can I change something I'm doing to make things better? There are lots of things you can do to help increase or develop your own resilience. Review some of the examples on the slide. Now we are going to watch a quick video. Pay attention and think about what the video is trying to tell us. After the video has ended, encourage students to share their interpretation. Now we are going to be talking about substance use and addiction. Sometimes, when we lack self-confidence, self-esteem, and healthy ways to bounce back, people turn to substances to cope and feel better. It is important to understand that substance use is not a healthy coping skill and can often lead to addiction. Addiction is when people depend so strongly on a substance or activity that they continue that behavior, even though they may be hurting themselves or others. A person may have a feeling of urgency to use the substance. Their cravings to use the substance become so strong that they will continue to use despite negative outcomes, such as poor health or strained relationships with friends and family. Substance use and addiction doesn't just impact the person who is using the substance. The whole family is impacted. People use substances for different reasons. Someone might be trying to cope in an unhealthy way to deal with stress, anger, or anxiety. Someone else might be curious or want to fit in or feel grown up. When you experiment with substances, it can deeply impact the choices we make and have an impact on how our brain develops in a healthy way. Using substances at an early age can increase our risk of addiction. Protective factors. Managing our emotions, using healthy coping skills, and building self-confidence can all also be referred to as protective factors. Protective factors are what keep us safe and can shield us from risky situations, such as substance use. The more protective factors you have, the more likely you are to have the ability to overcome challenges. Try to identify one friend or family member that you could go to for support. Surrounding yourself with people that are supportive and who are there for you can help you get through the good and the bad in life. Exit ticket. Let's all practice a healthy coping skill together. A brain dump is another way to describe journaling. This activity can help to relieve anxious thoughts or feelings and help us feel ready to focus. For the next few minutes, write about how you would approach a friend who you think is struggling and needs support. Then write down who you would turn to for support and why.